in a minute.
Okay, we are live. Hello and welcome to the Seller Ladies Live on this glorious Friday, the 23rd of August, 2019. Here we are again. Well, -1 because someone's obviously just left their seat. To have a bit of a chinwag and a natter about reselling and all things related or not. So I will do the introductions. We have Karen from Karen Sells Clothes. There. We have Andrea. Down below, there's Andrea. And of course we have Karen, the sometimes sewing thrifter. Hey, yes. You have to work out which way to point on this. That's right. People in the chat already. God, they're keen. Bexify. Hey. Catherine McConnell. Hello. Shelley Joe. Hi. And Bronwyn from sunny Australia. We're giving Australia a run for its money today. We're on for a heat wave in England on a bank holiday. How often does that happen?
Never.
So I'm deeply happy because basically I'm going camping. So I should be out in the wilds of nature causing mayhem somewhere in deepest Kent. So we hadn't got too much of a topic today, but you know, it's coming to the end of the summer holidays. Kids are going to start going back to school in a few weeks. And I guess we're all hoping for an upturn in our sales come the autumn. Those of us particularly who sell stuff that does better then and have experienced a little slowdown this summer, if it exists. Is this tin hat theory or no? So the topic really is, as a starter, is kind of what have we learned this summer? Because this year seems to have had a different flavour from previous years for a lot of people. If anyone's got any questions, hello Antoinette Daly. Antoinette Daly. I'm so sorry. Good God, how to mangle someone's name. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat and we'll be delighted to have a chat about that. So yeah, okay, who wants to start? What this summer, what have we learned? Who wants to go first? Hands up, ladies. Well, I'm going to pick someone. I feel like a teacher now. I'm going to pick Karen.
I suppose the only thing there's a couple of things that I've learned this summer. I mean, I've been really fortunate. I've not experienced the summer slowdown, but then that's because July I listed like a beast. So I would say prepare. So if you want to have time off, which, you know, is fair enough, if you want to take time off in the summer, if you want to make a full-time income or a decent income over it, you can't do that with no work. So if you want to take days off, prepare listings prior to the days off so that you can then just activate them on the days when you're taking off. I think that's the major thing is if you're not listing, don't be surprised if your sales tank. So that's what I'd say, really.
Lovely. Now, I'm just going to pop Sue in here because Sue's arrived. Sue, my favourite Sue. Hello, my lovely Sue.
Hello. I thought, wait and see if I put full house.
I think we can go up to 6.
You're all right?
Well, yes, we're all well. So we're just talking about what we've learnt from this summer, really, reselling wise mostly, although not exclusively. And I'm kind of doing the round. So if you want to jump in now, that's absolutely fine. If you want to hang back for a couple of minutes, that's fine too.
The garden is too tempting, and I get a lot of babysitting to have to do, which is lovely, but less work. Less work done.
Well,
I guess less work means less sales, doesn't it?
Yes, unfortunately. Yeah. And so less problems then, you see. When you're having customer problems, I don't have them because I don't have any customers.
Not too good for business, mind you, but yes.
No, but you can chill a lot, you know.
Yeah. There's always a bonus.
Yeah, you have to see plus side in everything, I find.
You do. Yeah.
I'm just going to try and do something technical and pop the chat out from thing because that'd be quite funny if I manage that.
Well, I managed to put this stream up and I'm quite happy because this is StreamYard. I'm not sponsored by them, but by the what's it's a lot easier. That's all I'm saying. It's so much easier. So, Karen, over there, what have you learned?
I have learned that definitely, as Karen said there, your sales are directly related to how much you list, because I have had a lot of weeks where we've been decorating, the house has been upside down, I've been helping Darren, haven't done any listings, I haven't had any sales. So it's definitely a direct correlation with that. Last week I ended a load of stuff and relisted it, and I had a good couple of days sales. That's just ended now. The last couple of days has been dead again because I haven't listed anything. So that is definitely last year. I mean, every time I've checked, you know, compared to last year, I've been down nearly every week. And that is because last year I spent the whole summer listing loads of stuff, buying loads of stuff, listing loads of stuff. So definitely a direct correlation with that.
My brother always laughs at me when I say, "Oh, I've listed that thing and it's sold." And he goes, "Never." All this listing and it's selling like, he says it's amazing.
But I don't know if anyone did I mention it in the last Seller Ladies about my cameras? The cameras are all listed.
Yay!
Finally done it.
Not the shirts yet, though, Karen,
No,
are they?
the shirts behind me are not listed yet, but they will be.
I have turned into Karen's bully. There is no word for it. Tell me to list the cameras. I went, okay, what's next then?
You can come here now then, Karen, and play with toys.
I wouldn't have an absolute no. I've got no clue on toys. I'd be a hindrance rather than a help. I wouldn't have a clue.
I keep saying I'm not picking them up, but I'm just drawn to them across the car boot.
Yeah.
Like waving at me and going, "You want me?"
Do you know what? I've been listening to some of the kids' stuff recently, and my hat goes off to anyone that does anything other than clothing now, because it's just, to me, it's such a ball ache.
Yeah.
Just list it. You have to clean it all properly. You got to test it. Oh no.
Has it got all its right bits?
Yeah, shove something on a mannequin, do a few measurements, bish, bash, bosh, done.
Well, I do about 15 clothing items and then I'm bored senseless.
Oh, obviously, I like being bored then.
So I have to mix it up a bit.
But we all find the things that work for us. I think once you get
Yeah.
used to doing something, used to listing something, then you can just whiz through it. Like I kind of do massive loads of things. So I'll do loads of photographs, like hundreds and hundreds of photographs. Then I'll do, sort of about 100 listings and measurings and do it all that way. And then they're all there waiting in the drafts to be matched up with the pictures. And then they're all scheduled to go through. I'll work like a demon for a while. And then I just think I can't face it and have a day off.
Heather, you've got someone at the door who wants to come in.
Yeah, Carla's knocking.
Oh, I can see. It's because my screen. Oh, there you are. I didn't see you, my darling. Here comes. Yeah. Sorry. You're live, Carla. Please don't swear.
Go again.
Listen, Heather, if anybody else comes knocking, boot me out because I'm not
No,
on
boot me out
irregular.
because I'm not staying anyway. I only popped in to say hello. So if anyone else comes, boot me out.
How's Molly?
Molly. Oh, she's gone again. Molly. Come and show people your lovely bracelets. Come on.
Where's our little doggy dog?
Muzzle on yet?
Muzzle, yeah.
You big girl. Have you got in your mouth? Is it something you shouldn't have?
Probably.
I think, Mol.
Yeah.
Yeah, Senecott.
What is that?
Twig, bit of twig.
Twig or piece of wood or stick or something that you're not having because it's swallowable size.
Oh.
She's got death wish.
Yeah.
We can take them to rehab, the poor little girl.
She'll be death for me, I tell you.
What about a muzzle, Carla?
I'm having her jaws wired soon.
Elastic band.
Oh. What do I need to do if I want to see the side chat? Do I need to open that in another window?
Yes, I
Yeah, I put that on my phone. So
I've got mine opened up from YouTube.
YouTube.
I'm going to prop it up here and I can see it.
Yeah, because mine comes up automatically, but that might be because I'm hosting.
Mm.
It's all deep joy, this StreamYard thing. I was saying it's so much easier to do. You think of all the problems I had in the early days, and it's just like, click on people. The only reason I didn't let you in instantly, Carla, is not because I'm a hard-hearted cow. It's simply that I couldn't see you because you were right underneath the screen.
You don't love me.
Oh dear. Oh, so we're just talking about what we've learned from this summer, really. You know, what if there are any lessons to be taken from how weird this summer's been, sales-wise and otherwise. That's really where we started.
I think this whole year's been weird, sales and just so many things changing and just all up and down. The summer's been no different, really.
It's been so unpredictable, hasn't it?
Yeah, but then we've been like 25% up on last summer, most of the summer. So at the moment we're a bit down, but that's because we were away last week and funnily enough didn't list anything.
Yay.
But yeah, it's not been too bad actually.
Have you done less Amazon though, Andrea?
So again?
Have you done less Amazon this year?
I think we probably have actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nick sent a big box off last week, so I don't know. Yeah, but it does feel like there's less Amazon going on. But then our busiest time is, fourth quarter and Christmas time.
Thing is, there's more restrictions on Amazon as well now, isn't there? So like you can't send in the media, can you, and things like that.
Exactly. We can't send any of the media in, so it's all going on eBay now for less profit, unfortunately.
Why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think Amazon are just stopping everyone from sending in the obvious?
I think it's because they're getting pressure from the bigger distributors and the bigger companies. They don't want people to be selling it on their behalf. They want to make the profit from it. So.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Mandy. Mandy's in the chat, and so's Kirsten from Kirsten's Curiosities. The gang's all here.
Yeah, you can sell it if you are, and if you're an actual shop and you've got an account with one of the big distributors, one of the big wholesalers. You have to prove that by sending in your receipts and your invoices. But if you're just a business like us that buy and sell secondhand stuff, then no, you can't do it anymore.
Is that just FBA or is that the whole of Amazon, like merchant fulfilled as well?
Nick might correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's across the board.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. I was going to say, I don't know, because I remember last year Scott wanted a game for his birthday. Ordered it, got it from Amazon Prime. Brand new game, wrapped it all up. He opened it on his birthday. No word for lie. He opened it up and there was no disc in it. It wasn't that it'd been taken out in Amazon because it had the clear plastic film around it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just a mistake in manufacture, I suppose.
Yeah, pretty tricky, really. So I think one of the main things I've always known it, but that I really learned this summer is that eBay likes activity. And in some ways, I'm not sure if it necessarily matters what that activity is, but by doing things with your site in some way, by like you would keep a garden, by weeding and pruning and maintaining and feeding and just activity. I think that's what it likes, but I think you're still always going to get spikes when the eye of eBay is not on you. And I've had, I had about 2 days in a row where I didn't have a single sale, and considering I've got sort of 1,500 items nearly, that's quite remarkable. But then yesterday and today I've had really good days, so it's still quite random.
So random. It makes you wonder whether it is visibility or if it's competition, or we're not privy to it, are we? So we just don't know.
I mean, the thing is, we're self-employed. We are self-employed, and if you want a guaranteed set income, the only way you're going to get that is go and get yourself a job. There is no guaranteed set income. But so one day you could, like you said, you could have like a £500 one day and a zero sale day the next day. There is no rhyme or reason. I think. Yeah. It's easier if you don't look at the day-to-day picture of it. You look at it maybe weekly or monthly or something like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I have started putting money away as well now for next year, because this May and June were absolutely dire for me. They were my worst months of the year. So I have started putting money away now. I want to build myself up a 6-month safety net. If I have a dire month, I can pull on that if I need to.
Yeah, If you can get your level, you know, the graph that's going up and down all the time, all this roller coaster, if you can get it so that the bottom one is always above where you actually need to be, and then anything above that is a bonus. But it's when it's constantly going below what you need that it's worrying.
Yeah, I try and look at the big picture as well. I mean, the day-to-day ones, you know, especially when you've got a graph where you have one good day and then the rest looks tiny, you know, it can be a bit disheartening. But I do look at where I was compared to this time last year, and yes, I have some more listings. I think I've got better quality stock, and I've got a lot of really good quality stock that's going to come on over the next 3 weeks because I've scheduled it. I am doing better than I was this time last year. So that is what I hang on to. All the detail doesn't matter. It's the bigger picture, which is saying I'm getting better at what I'm doing, which is kind of what I need to know, is that I'm actually learning.
Yeah, and the business is growing as well. Yeah, I think what you were saying, Karen, actually is a really good tip, actually, especially for summer. It's making sure that you're putting money away all the time and you've got that cushion. So if you do have slower times or you do have more difficult times, you've got that to fall back on. So you're not panicking, you're not too worried about it. You can go on holiday and relax and not think about your bank balance. We've always done that, so it really helps.
And it's not always lack of motivation that slows you down, is it? My motivation's there to make loads of money and be really successful and get cracked on like that. And I make my list, and then about 2 o'clock, and it's like people have been, and then you're up and downstairs with deliveries coming and deliveries for neighbours, and then it's fine, so I'll get washing in, and then my back's gone now, I need to sit down for a bit, and then by the time I've done it, it's 2 o'clock, and I think, sod it.
I definitely find that if I want to get anything done, I have to get up early and get started.
Yep.
I have to, after 5 o'clock, I'm useless. After 5 p.m., I'm absolutely no good to man or beast. And my most productive bit of the day is before other people start wanting me to do stuff.
I'm exactly the same, Carla. I get up at 6 o'clock at most mornings. I'm going to take up to 7 this morning. But I get up at 6 o'clock most mornings. I start work the minute I get up. I do not stop, not even for lunch, not because I'm a martyr or anything like that. I know the minute that I stop is the minute I'm going to stop working.
Yeah.
And I will come up with every excuse under the sun as to why I can't carry on working. So I'll be sitting here having a sandwich listening, because if I stop working, I won't restart again. And I think that's the big key, is if you can learn when you're most productive, whether that's first thing in the morning or later in the evening, work with, this whole joy of this job, it is flexible to that degree. Yeah. You can work what hours you want, as long as you get your work done.
Absolutely. It's evenings for me. I'm nocturnal.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
a night owl.
Stop up all night and sleep all morning. But
I'm normally in bed nice and early.
Mandy's in. Hello, Mandy. And Bronwyn from Australia said it's been 6 months since she had a non-sale day and only 350 listings. eBay Australia is awesome. It sounds bloody awesome. Can I move to Australia, please?
I don't think there's so many resellers over there, is there?
I think, maybe the market is at a different stage.
It sounds like good stock, though, as well.
Yeah, there's a pommy picker guy, isn't there? I follow him sometimes, but he has to travel vast distances to go and source anything. It's not like things around the corner. So, it's horses for courses, I guess. Yeah.
Also, I could be wrong, but I'm sure it wasn't the last time I heard. Amazon Prime wasn't over there yet. I could be talking about my butthole. It has been known.
Indeed. Yeah.
Amanda's put there, think bigger and better months, strike whilst the iron is hot, milk it while you can. And that's what I'm planning on doing. I mean, like July and August have been really good months for me. I've made over what I need to make, but that extra money is sitting there because I'm milking it while it's all coming in, ready for when it goes boom.
Yeah.
It will. You can't help it. Your sales will go like that. And you will have months when your sales go like that.
Traditionally for me, for me, not necessarily for somebody else, but I do find that September is usually a very, very good month. So my preparations to make sure that I've got as much listed as I can, and all in the right kind of things that people might want. Then I've thought a bit more strategically about that this year, because it's historically for the last 3 years that has been the better month. So I mean, it probably turned out to be a complete rubbish one this time, but I've put a lot of work in to be ready for that, because that in a way is my Q4 is kind of September, because I'm selling clothing which people aren't always buying right before Christmas. So
so I can't remember who said it, but it has. It's been this year's completely turned on its head. I mean, last 2 years that I've been doing this, now the third year into doing it, January and May were my 2 best months of both of them years. I mean, we're talking January was better than my Q4, as they call it. I was under the impression that people were basically, they spent out on all the gifts. They've been given some money, and rather than buying new clothes, I can get more secondhand online, which was the theory I was running with. This year, January and May have been my worst 2 months. So I don't know what September's going to bring. Just take each month as it comes for me now.
It's a victory, isn't it?
I think you just have to do as much as you possibly can, don't you?
Yeah, that's the way I see it. You just have to keep plodding on, really.
Yeah.
Just keep trying everything.
For some of us, it means we can just keep going and going, and you've got plentiful stock, and you're putting the effort in, and all it's good for them. I'm really pleased for anybody that's really, really successful at it. But other people have limitations, so you've got to know your limitations and not push yourself past that either. Because if I do too much, I can then end up where I've got 4 days where I can hardly do anything.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
If I put me back out, or I do it to overkill, and I start to go into the doldrums and stuff, when I disappear, and I just can't function. I can stand in the middle of a room and just do something, I'm saying to myself. But and then, like this morning, I've got up without, Phil tries to get me up. Well, every morning I get up with him, and he tried this morning, I couldn't get up. So then it was like 10 o'clock before I got up, and I've got more done in 2 hours by letting my body wake up when it wants to than I do when it gets me up at 7.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. We're all different, and we all have different ways of working, and we, you have periods where you've got higher energy and periods when the energy drops, and you have to kind of go with it, because if you fight it too much, there will be a price to pay. You'll either burn out, get down on yourself because you think, I'm not doing what I should be doing. And that's one of the big undermining things is if your confidence goes with this, it's really hard to come back from, isn't it? Crispy's asked a question. Carla, special coasters.
Just on a completely opposite side note, I have just realised that the delay between us speaking and it transmitting to YouTube is a full 2.5 minutes.
Wow.
So if you ask a question for anyone in the chat, it's a full 2.5 minutes before you can expect any answers. I scratched my chin at 121, and it was almost 124 by the time it showed up on the screen.
Oh wow!
So we're not ignoring you guys out there. We're not ignoring you.
It's just very much a delay between things happening. But the answer to Chris is no. I have not sold the special coasters. They are here. I am considering them as a gift for someone special.
Oh, yes, they're very special. Those.
I was just thinking about what we were talking about and how we're all different. And I think that sometimes, I don't know if any of you feel this way, but I know that sometimes I get into that kind of headspace where I'm beating myself up a little bit. Like, like Karen will talk about being up at 6 in the morning. Carla this morning, did 4 days work before night. And and I think to myself, oh God, I'm so lazy or whatever. But
the fact that I mentioned it, though, shows how rare it is, Andrea. The fact that I bothered to tell you all, look what I've achieved this morning, shows how rarely I achieve anything.
Yeah, I'm just saying that when people say, oh, I'm up at 6 and blah, 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 if I get up at 6, I'm no good to anybody. I'm just not a morning person. But I can work at midnight. I'm quite often still listing at midnight. And
oh, no. I'm asleep.
No, if I wrote a listing at midnight, it would be gobbledygook.
My listing's gobbledygook anyway, but it'd be even worse.
Nick came to bed last night, or should I say this morning, and it was sunshine outside, you know.
No,
I
for
guess
me,
as
a late
soon as
night
Hannah
at
moves
11
out,
o'clock.
we'll just be night birds.
I don't know how he does that.
No.
I wouldn't be able to function. I get to about 3 o'clock and I'm pretty much done. And you don't get much sense out of me after about 7 or 8. I'm pretty useless.
I also wouldn't be able to sleep if I came to bed when it was light. I've always felt sorry for people who work nights.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, though, Andrew, it's what works best for you. Me, I work better in the morning. I've never been able to sleep in since having the delightful 2 children, you can probably hear. But I've never been able to lay in since then.
Yeah.
So I might as well work with what I'm good at. I'm good at working first thing in the morning. Come 4 or 5 o'clock, I am no good for nothing. You know, if I'm not in my pajamas by 6 o'clock in the evening, there's something going on seriously wrong. Because I'm a real party animal.
I don't know how I used to do it. I used to be at work about 12 hours, come home, cook tea, clean up from tea, and then do brochures and work until about 11 o'clock, and then back in office again at 8 in the morning, 6 days a week. I don't know how I did it.
God.
Jeez.
It nearly killed me, like, but still.
Yeah, I must admit, I do wonder how, because there's quite a few people out there that are doing this as well as having a full-time job, and I
No.
do it again.
It's a good way to dip into it, I think, when you're doing it when you've got a full-time job, because you're not relying on the money and you can just sort of play with it a bit and experiment. And, you know, when we do it full-time, I think we all get quite a bit more serious and a bit more like, we've got to make this work.
Now, Bromley's just put in there, I resell because of back pain. Nothing else has the flexibility to sit and stand and rest when I have to. It's giving me a job after years of unemployment. And that is exactly the same here. I suffer from sciatica all the blinking time. But, so if I'm in one position for too long, it kills me. So I can do 5 photos, which can either be standing up if my back's feeling okay, or crouching down if it's not that good. And then I can go and do the listening. So I can move it around, which is what it needs. Where else can you do it?
Exactly.
What did you say, Karen? Do you do 5 photos and list them and then come back for another 5?
Yeah, I do it in batches of 5, so I don't go clinically insane. So I take the photos, measure the items, then put them in a bag. They sit on top of my boxes here, and then I go onto the computer and finish off the drafts.
I think I'm going to have a go at that, because I tried for 10, but then my back's gone, and then I'm sat here moving about like that, thinking, oh God, I can't go back and do any more. But if I do 5s, that might be better.
Yeah, you've got to work with where you are and as things are. I think the worst thing to do is to go, I should be doing this, I must do it, and make yourself, and then pay the price physically, psychologically, motivation wise, or whatever. You know, if I get a head on that means I want to list 50 things, I'll do it, but there'll be some days when that's just not going to happen because I'm just random, but it's all right, you know.
That word, isn't it? I should be doing. And psychologically, that's not good, really, because you kind of rebel almost against it when you think you should be doing something.
Well, exactly. Plus comparing ourselves to other people as well, you know, and it's interesting to see how other people work, but there's nothing that says we have to do it their way. You know, we've, even between us 6, we've got very different ways of doing things, but there'll be some similarities too. But there isn't a right or wrong way with this. There just isn't. You just end up trying to learn for what works for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And some of the people that you see when they were showing the figures on the Facebook groups and this, that and the other, some are quite motivating because it's achievable. You can strive for that next step on, and they seem to be a similar seller to you, so they can be motivated. And others just make you feel absolutely useless.
But when you don't know the turnover thing, you don't know what people have paid for stuff.
No.
You don't know, that might be the only income they've got coming into their house. You don't know what their return rate is. You know, there's a lot of factors that you do not know. That turnover is just that, it's their turnover, not their profit.
Yeah. And I think it depends on your state of mind. When you can look at something one way one day and go, oh, that's motivating. Look at it the next week when maybe you've had a couple of sort of tumbleweed sales days and go, oh, geez, I must be doing something terribly wrong. But we're all used to that roller coaster ride. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of part of the fun and part of the frustration and part of the madness that is that is eBay. And talking of the madness that is eBay, here's Steve.
I always say to new sellers, I say, if you can get through the first year, then you've got someone to compare yourself to.
Yourself, yeah.
Mm.
And there will be months. I mean, I had 3 months this year. I'm down last year. You know, I mean, I'm not this month. I'm up on last year, and I was last month. But before then, I was down. And my profits were dire. Absolutely. I mean, January, I think I made £100 profit in the whole of January, which is just like, was it worth even opening? You know, it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got nothing to do with you being a good reseller. You do everything you know, you do all the right things as much as you know what the right things are. But sometimes it just doesn't pay off. And other times you'll have good sales and you think, well, what have I done differently for that? Nothing.
When you have one, like if you have like a few die days, you look at your stock and you start thinking it's all rubbish, it's all shockingly deep, etc., etc. Right? But then the following day you'll have a good day's worth of sales. It's not that your stock's got any better. You know, your stock's not any better than when you're having the dire sales, and your stock's not any worse when you're having good sales to dire sales. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is random. And Kirsten has actually said it's not just eBay, it's retail in general. My shop was really busy yesterday because she's got a proper bricks and mortar shop, hasn't she? An amazing place. She says she's barely seen a soul today. And I guess maybe the sun's out and everyone's doing something else, you know.
Yeah.
Cole's loving it at work at the moment. Like, get to Q4 and Cole's got like 12, 13 jobs on his van. Get to this time of year and he's got 4 or 5. He's loving it because there's just not people spending at the moment.
Yeah.
And he works for a massive company, so.
Yeah.
Oh, who's that?
Who's that?
Hey!
Let's hope it's something good.
It's a low offer.
That's why I don't have offers on, because I've just chucked my phone.
Is it going to ending off, Carla?
I'm actually going to accept it because I haven't sold anything today. I've just had a cancellation from an order from yesterday.
Oh.
And it's something I've had to stock for a while. So I'm going to take the low offer and hopefully that will
Bring more.
revitalise eBay. You know what I mean? Start stuff going. Can I pick your brains? I've just had a cancellation request for an item from yesterday. I accepted the cancel it. She'd already paid. So I hit the cancel this item. It sent it to her to ask her to agree to cancel that she'd agreed that she had asked to cancel. She did this, but it has not refunded her. Now, I have never had a situation when it has not automatically refunded when I've cancelled before. Should I go ahead and refund her, do you think, or should I wait in case eBay's just on a bit of a stutter and might catch up later?
I would wait and then talk to eBay and ask.
Yeah. She sent me a message saying, thank you for cancelling, please may I have a refund? And I've sent back the refund is automatic when I cancel, which she hasn't argued with, but then she's a new eBay, so she might have fallen down the trap of believing that I know what I'm on about.
I did. Say your end, it's refunded or not?
No, my end it doesn't say refunded. I can see it hasn't refunded. I can look in my PayPal and see it hasn't refunded. And yet it says cancelled and I've had a final value fee refund. I can see that on my account. It's really odd. I've never...
Yeah. I'd talk to eBay and just say, because if you refund her and then they refund her, that would be annoying, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be more annoying than losing the sale in the first place if I end up giving away free money.
So it's not showing as a separate entry as a refund on PayPal, but is it showing against the original transaction?
No, check there as well. It's all showing it's ready to dispatch, blah, blah, blah.
No, it's always gone through.
Yeah, same here. I've never had this before.
Yeah, contact eBay, I would.
That sounds like a glitch.
There's nothing more fun than having to spend hours of your time on the phone to eBay to give someone money back because they cancelled their order, is there?
Yeah, great use of your time and money.
Oh, another one of them bloody customers.
No, I can see my final value fee refund. I can see my final value fee on postage credit. You know, I can see those, but the item hasn't actually been refunded. So at the moment, I've still got her money. I mean, yay me, but
yeah. If it is a glitch and then it suddenly goes through, you need to speak to eBay, I think.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. I'm going to have to go anyway because I've got to go to the post office and the bank and various other exciting places.
Woohoo!
Me, I'm sorry I haven't actually contributed much, but have a lovely chat.
It was lovely to see you. Have a good
Carla.
one.
I'm trying the door to get out of StreamYard. I always just end up wandering around vaguely. Oh, there it is.
I'm leaving there.
Oh.
Can I request a shout out? Can we all say hello to my little sister Mel? Because she's a really good supporter of us all, and she always watches us, and she's been my rock the last few days. I just love her so much, and she's going through a rubbish time herself. So can we all just say hello to my little sister Mel?
Hello, Mel. Thank you for being a nice sister to Karen.
Yeah, she's a lovely sister.
Oh, bless her. Oh, Southwest Sellers has just joined us, a bit late to the party, but welcome. And Chris B has said he thinks eBay was having a mare yesterday. He listed a load of graphic novels, but it kept listing them in the pipe fitting category. How did it do that? You had to make them live and then change the category over, which is another waste of time and energy, but I hope they're in the right category now. How does that happen? Hello, Tap Peddler. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? I mean, you get some odd things. The only really odd thing I've noticed with eBay is when I'm trying to list a waistcoat, and I do list a few of them because they're quite, funky items, as aware of them myself on occasion.
There's no category, is there?
No, so you get all
really
the coats, all the jackets. You can't just get waistcoats, and that really peeves me off sometimes. So eBay, if you're listening, do something, please.
I tend to put it in tops.
Yeah. I had my big bugger, but it seems to have resolved itself over the last couple of weeks. Is, because I take my photos, then I add them to eBay with a really rough title like Pop 16, size 16 top, and then I draft them on the computer. But when I was doing it originally, up until about a couple of weeks ago, you'd do that, and it'd choose this top, and it would add it to that, and there was no way of getting around it. And it was like, seriously, I am not selling an M-less top, or I'm not selling a pair of Guess jeans. I am selling this.
Yeah.
I hate it when it does do that to me every so often, where it won't let you start your own listing. It brings up all these other ones, and you've got to pick one. I just get so cross with that.
You end up with about 5 drafts in your thing. That's all. I was doing a Batman Imaginext thing at one time. I had every form of Batman known to man in my drafts that I didn't want.
Yeah, because if you're not careful, you'll end up with a duplicate thinking, oh, I haven't listed that, and it's made a copy. And
and the other thing it's doing, because I do the basic title and then put the photos, and then thereafter I'm on the laptop. I go to the laptop, move down to description, and every single one it's been saying dispatched by Royal Mail first class, and I think, no way on earth have I ever put Royal Mail first class in my preferences.
Yeah, that's what the app does, that, doesn't it? It automatically. I do very rough drafts when I come back with my items, and I just do very rough ones with the price, and then I go in on the laptop, and then I do the measurements, and but it'll always do that, and it pre-fills it because I think it kind of thinks it's being helpful to say it's going to send things first class. It's like, no, I use my Hermes, thank you. Yeah.
I don't like to suggest a price either, because I think a lot of people who aren't used to eBay or just personal sellers, they go by the price that gets suggested, and then that drops the price, and then people are selling stuff really cheaply. They can get a lot more for.
I mean, I know I'm a low end seller, but when it's suggesting everything's £1.04p or below, I ain't going to blink and sell that low end.
I've never paid any attention to any of their suggestions. I always go my own sweet way because I always have. But the fact that they try and railroad you into an auction on the app, and B, their suggested price is just laughable. I mean, God knows where they get it from, but I completely override it. But again, as you say, people who are not so experienced will think, oh, that must be the set price for this on eBay. God forbid. I mean, it's not doing anybody any favours, really, is it?
No.
And I think if you've done anything on the app, you need to check it on the classic screen anyway, because I was doing a load of Lego figures, so they're quick to photograph. So I'd got it set up on my tripod, doing the photos, and just a brief sort of Batman or Robin or whatever thing. And I was going to do them on auction, and when I went into the main screen to have a look at it, it had put all my figures starting at 99p. I was like, I haven't done one starting at 99p, so I'm glad I went and checked it in the time that I could alter the price.
Yeah.
If you bid on it straight away, I wouldn't have been able to alter the price.
But I've noticed also since I've gone to Packlink, because I use Drop and Go, so I don't use the eBay site to print off my postage. But I go onto the print postage label so I can copy and paste their addresses. And each time I've gone on there, it's coming up as special delivery. I'm not doing anything special delivery. Even though on the, underneath where it says who it's brought, it says paid for this like second class postage. They paid for second class postage, but it's trying to get me to blink and send everything special delivery.
So the app has got a lot of pitfalls, hasn't it? And I think a lot of experienced resellers are very unlikely to use the app solely on its own, because you want to know what it looks like on a computer or on a notebook or something bigger. The best thing they ever did was took off that blessed having to check it for being mobile friendly. I mean, at least that now is one less thing stage to go through, really. But they took their time doing that, to be honest. So, hey,
Yeah. Well, there's a few people saying that they've had lots of glitches. Like Gary said, had an offer whilst out, couldn't respond on my phone, kept going back to the original page. And Cheryl said, I did a strange thing yesterday, wouldn't let me add a price, only if I chose from a drop-down menu.
Yeah.
Well, I always start it. I do my draft in my phone and then finish it on the computer. I don't do everything.
So I find it easier to add the photos via the app. For me personally, I think it will take me longer to download all the photos onto the computer and then find the right photo for the right listing. So for me personally, it's quicker and easier, the way I do it, to just upload the photo straight onto the app. But that's how I work. It's just what works for me. But other than that, I don't use the app at all, other than to send out offers and to check for offers and to see what's sold. I don't use it to list them.
See, I've done a little experiment because I said maybe I could list more if I sat at the computer, if I just done the photographs with the app and then came on the computer and finished it. And I'm actually faster sitting on my bed listing on the app than I am sitting in front of the computer. I don't know why.
I mean, Mandy does it all on the computer. She's always flipping. She does it all, not on the computer, on the app.
On the app. I don't know if it's just I'm faster holding the phone and typing than I am on a keyboard. Even though I used to be a secretary and I used to type all day long, I don't know why. I'm just faster listing on the app than I am on the website. It's weird.
Depends on what works for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ellen on the phone. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got fat fingers when it comes to the mobile phone. That's my problem is, and I just get cross with the fact it tries to auto-correct everything.
Also, I find it easier on the computer purely because you can have more than one window open at the same time. So I can be researching what they've sold for before whilst also doing my listing. Whereas for me, lazy bones here, having to go through, first of all, seeing how much it's sold for, how much I'm going to sell it for, then going on to list it's just an extra step that I don't want to
do. Does anyone want to answer Just Me's question there?
What's he put? Hi everyone, I was picking my list. I am still inactive at the start of a few weeks ago. I've never had that happen to me as of yet.
I have had it happen to me. I have sold things that have previously been sold. Where it's somehow duplicated itself. And I do run ISDN tech or whatever it is, the duplicate listings scanning thing. But every now and again it'll do it. And I think it's just the sheer size of eBay. It shouldn't happen so much with this good till cancel, because obviously things aren't going round and round. But I have things drop off. Lots of things drop off. And I also sometimes will find that I've got stuff listed twice. I just manually end it. It's a glitch, but it's one of those things that, in my experience, actually happens surprisingly often. So you have to keep an eye on your inventory.
I was going to say, just double check you haven't got the out of stock option on, because if that's the case, then it will all still be active, but it will say out of stock. So just check you haven't got that ticked across on your eBay account.
Nope. Kelly's in the house.
I think you need to be careful with that as well, don't you, with the out of stock option, because it does keep relisting, isn't it, for 3 months?
Yeah.
It'll keep relisting for 3 months. So you've got to say, if you've got a basic shop, how many listings you get? 250?
Yeah.
250. So if you're at 225 and you've got 100 things that are out of stock, you're going to be charged for listings, and you need to be aware of that.
Yeah.
I had that happen a long time ago, though.
Yes, that's why. When I was doing the craft prize, I top placed on one of the things and I lost it because I ran out of stock.
Oh.
And I got them back in 2 days later.
Periodically now, I'll go through the overview page and click on the top of title. So it puts them all in alphabetical or whatever order. And then you can quickly scope all the way down it and see if there's a duplicate. Just every now and again, just to make sure it's not happened. Because I've done it myself as well by changing things to auction and not realising it puts them in unsold. So then when I did a mass relisting, it relisted it. And I'm like, well, I've got 2. And I don't know if it was Karen that said, it's because you didn't. It went into your unsold, which I hadn't realised.
Yeah.
It's good to check yourself every now and again, because there's no worse than cancelling something that you think you're getting money on.
I've noticed a few of my items have just disappeared, just dropped off. So I need to relist those, which is a bit of a pain in the bum, but
I do stock take.
Though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's annoying. Yeah, I've definitely got at least one thing at the moment. I keep thinking, I never see that when I go through my listing. I'm sure that's dropped off and disappeared somewhere.
Yeah. And the tap peddler's saying there that every so often he sorts active listings by quantity and ends all the 0 quantities. So that never applies to me because I never have more than one of something. But plainly, if you've got a quantity, you've got to keep an eye.
Yeah, we have to do that all the time, because as soon as you sell something, it just goes to 0 quantity, and if you haven't got ones that you can add to it, or you're not likely to get any more, then you need to. Otherwise,
I think Zahir did a thing once where when you'd got your never out of stock on, if it's then gone down to a 0, you can actually use that listing again because it's had a sale on it and edit everything about it and relist it. So you're actually getting a bit of a credit that it's something that's sold before. In actual fact, it's completely different.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times with denim skirts, actually, when they're very, very similar, the listing. I've just added another denim skirt to it.
I don't know. I don't think I'd ever use it. I think
I'd confuse myself.
I think for selling second-hand stuff, I don't think clothing it would work for me. I'm gonna leave it. I just don't think it would.
The thing is, whatever you do, you've got to keep on top of it, and the more listings you have, the more difficult it is. But the thing of stuff actually disappearing, I think is happens a lot more than anyone ever realizes. I mean, I know I've got stuff that I've had to re-photograph because I've lost the pictures and basically had to start from scratch with it again, and that's kind of annoying.
Do you think that's a glitch, or do you think that's human error? Someone in an office somewhere has accidentally deleted your listing?
I don't know, but it happens quite a bit. I mean, now that I'm up at towards the 1,500 listings, there's always a few that drop off, and as Tap Peddler said, to go back and to try. Sorry, Southwest Sellers are saying to try and check every few weeks. I kind of try and do it, but I look through and I think, where's that thing? It should have sold by now, and then it's not listed. It's gone. Bugger.
I'm on just over 1,500 items. If you think I'm going to sit here every few weeks and go through all my stock, I haven't got the time. If I get it done once a year, I'll do it once a year. 1 or 2 items, or even 10 items that have dropped off and I'm at 1,500, I've got more. It makes more sense for me to spend more time listing than going for it every 3 weeks for me, personally.
Yeah, I mean, exactly that. I don't do it, but especially with some of the nicer stuff, and I'm thinking, that should have sold by now. Like it's something by, I don't know, Toast, or it's one of those lovely brands. I'm thinking, why isn't that sold? And then I realise it isn't listed. It's like, oh, but yeah, I mean, it's a time thing, isn't it? You've got to manage your time and what pays and what's worth doing.
I do it once a year. Just do one stock check after Christmas, and then find whatever's dropped off. And quite often I just end up redonating it because I can't be bothered to relist it. But
I've never done one.
If you do cross list on like Depop or somewhere, or Etsy or something like that, and you've got a listing that's dropped off, so much easier to just put it back. So it's just copy and paste back to eBay.
Mm.
So yeah, that pays off. But I just
But
had
that takes some organisation.
I had a light bulb moment. I thought, while we were talking about the 0 listings and what you said about Zahir saying that you could just list something different as if it was, as if it was something of the same, then you could do that. If you've got a dress that's just sold, you could then use that almost as a template, couldn't you?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
I hadn't even thought of that. I don't know why.
Well, he tried it because I think he thought that it was only going to be, it had got to be the same thing, and your only edit would be able to be something small. But no, he said he managed to change all the photographs and all the sites. So basically making it a completely new listing, but it's got a history.
Yeah.
Oh, I might try that then.
Is that like selling similar on something, or have I missed the point now?
Yeah, probably.
Well, it would still be in your list of items as active, but with nil showing.
Yeah.
And you would just relist.
So when you relist it, it'll come up as if you've sold it.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
And then when you've done it again, it'll come up as if you've sold 2 of the items. And then when it comes up again, it'll come up as if you've sold 3 of that item, and 4, so on. So it builds you up a history in theory.
Yeah.
I used to use never out of stock a lot when I had the craft shop, because they were handmade items and they were made to order. So I would put in sort of like wedding flowers, whatever, and there's 10. I've only got 10. And somebody might buy all 10 in one fell swoop, and so it would drop to nil. All I needed to do was to change the quantities to 10. I've got 10. Or if, say I'd got a page full of items that weren't actually selling as quickly, I would edit all the quantities back to 8 or up to 12 or down to 2 or whatever, just so I was doing an edit, and it really used to build sales. Just doing an edit on the quantity, because it didn't matter to me how many I was showing.
Yeah, I always use, I've kept it on because of my covers, but I've always used that out of stock, because I would make my covers in batches, put 12 on, and then as it got down to about 2 or 3 left, I'd make some more and add some more. So I could always change the quantity. So that's why. And then I've obviously just kept it on. But I sell a lot of stuff that's quite similar, because obviously I specialise in like Clark's shoes. And obviously there's only so many different designs of Clark's shoes. So you often do get a very similar or the same shoe. So I might have to just change the size. And also I get people who've missed out on a pair of shoes, and they say, are you getting any more of those, or can you find some more of those? So that's quite helpful, because then if I do find something similar, I can put it on that listing and then tell the person that messaged me, well, I sold those, but I've got these if you're interested. So that helps as well.
You could have got it in their watch list, even though it's an ended item, it could still be in their watch list.
Oh yeah, I've got stuff that's ended, and because I keep it there for 4 weeks. Until the return period is ended, because often you get people send stuff back, and then it's really easy for me to just put one back in the quantity. So it's there for 4 weeks, and like I've got some stuff that I've sold a couple of weeks ago, and it's still got like 8 watches. So people still have it as on watch even though it's sold. So you do get quite a few messages saying about the about what an item was. So
it's ideal for your covers, isn't it? Or people crafting their own things.
Definitely.
Well, I used to do craft supplies. I found these, they were just pendant beads, just like pendants, but they were Tibetan pendants. They were like the alphabet, and I used to do the letters A, B, C, all the way down, and the full letter size. But I also had a listing on its own for the full alphabet, which was top of the ranking, and it was a really good seller, and I ran out. And if I had that out of stock option, I was waiting on the letter O. I never get that letter O. I used to sell literally 10 to 20 a day on eBay. So it was like one, because eBay wasn't my major income from it, but it was my major seller on there. But yeah, because the out of stock option wasn't around, I lost it, and it just went down.
Yeah. So what I was actually going to try and say further to that point was then, you probably shouldn't do it unless you've got something that's the same brand or very similar.
No, I wouldn't do it if it was something completely different.
No.
But as I say, I've done it a couple of times with denim skirts that have been like Marks and Spencer's denim skirts. So you barely have to change anything, maybe the size. And then, as I said, with Clark's shoes. But if it was something completely different, I wouldn't do that, because the people that are still watching it, it's going to be a completely different item. How is that? How are you going to get a sale from that? You're not. So
No.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's just pause for thought. But the trouble is, though, then if you do leave it there and you don't necessarily get any more in the next month, then you're going to be charged again for that listing.
Yeah, I do end them. Yeah.
So
I'll go through, check the date when something's sold, and I'll go through and end that stuff when it's at the 4 weeks. I just do it so it's easier for me. I just leave it there as out of stock, so in case I get a return. But you know, 9 times out of 10 I don't, so I just end it. So I just do a batch of end each day. I'll end a couple, so I keep on top of it. But then I haven't got many listings. I think that would be a lot harder if you had 1,500 listings. I've only got like 150 listings, so it's easy for me.
If I get a return, but then I suppose you do a lot on the app you were saying, won't you, Karen?
Yeah.
If I get a return, I can just relist it straight from the returns page.
Right.
What I tend to do is I just relist it straight from the returns. I don't change photos, nothing, just get it straight relisted.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, to me, that just, I can see why you use it if you do replenishables. Like you've got your covers, so you've got a few car parts, haven't you, around here that are just knocking around here and there.
Yeah.
So I can understand why you use them, but for me, just doing one-offs, it's just it seems like more hassle than it's worth.
I've not got it on now. It were great when I was doing the crafts and stuff, but I don't bother with it now.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would use it necessarily, but you know, I can see the merit of it. But yeah, with 1,500 listings, yeah, the danger of something going wrong or getting overlooked, like no.
Why complicate something that you don't need to when you're trying to balance 1,500 listings? Is my theory on it, Heather. You know.
Yeah. Don't make work for yourself.
Without being rude, we've got 1,500 listings we can list. You know, the time it will save us is nothing on banging up a new listing rather than just finding out, changing the photos, changing the type. You might as well just, for me personally, just do a new listing. So
yeah, I was just thinking of it in terms of like a template. So if you had, like, for instance, sold a Bowden dress recently, you've got another one.
Yeah.
You know, you could put that on.
Yeah, I mean, it's ideal for people that do electronics, you know, because we all do them, obviously. Like, if you sell PlayStation 4s, you can do this, and you just change the condition. Like, if there's any condition issues, it's exactly the same thing you're selling. Ideal for that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's got that many. So now I've got 3 jackets in here, exactly the same size. They're all a per owner, exactly the same size, exactly the same design. I think they're all on at 3 different prices because we're in 3 different boxes. So,
well, hopefully
you could have had one listing.
Huh?
You could have had one listing.
Nah, it takes time. I didn't get them all at the same time, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a bit of a crop of Lakeland jackets. You know, there's very thin ones that are sort of puffy. And I seem to be finding those all over the shop. So, yeah, maybe I should group them all together. But I list stuff as it comes in, so I'm not waiting for quantities.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I find that looking after 1,500 listings it's a lot harder work, you know. Once you get above sort of about 600, it starts to get really serious. And you're not going to remember everything you've got. So, or where you put it.
Get things right. And they tell you, like, when did I buy that? Or... I don't remember ever seeing this, you know. Kind of
I always remember all my stuff. That is what's weird. I do remember seeing it and where I bought it. As soon as I see it again, I'm like, oh yeah, I picked that up from so and so. Even with 1,500 odd listings.
I don't remember from yesterday.
The only way I can tell how long a listing's been on sometimes is by the photo. Where I've taken the photo, the position of it. I can say, right, well, that's my bedroom, so that's pre-May. Right, well, that's not even with my screen, so that's pre-last May. And that's in my front room pre-screen, so that is like when I first started.
Yeah. I've started putting the month in the custom label bit. So I put my number and then I put like August 19.
Yeah, I do.
I can go through everything and see, you know, what's been on for like 3 months or whatever, and then adjust it or put it on auction or whatever.
I do that in my SKU because I don't use a SKU system for my stock. It's just in categories. So in the SKU box, I put the date that I've listed it and how much I paid for it as well.
Yeah, it does work.
Yeah, everyone's got their different systems, haven't they? And I only really started to have a numbered system, which I'm still working on now, but I only really started that when I was over 1,000 listings. Up until then, I could manage it just by having things as skirts, trousers. I could handle it all, but it just got to a point where every now and again I couldn't find something, and the stress of not being able to find something is unbelievable. And I don't want that, so I'm trying to save my.
The only tip I have got is with jeans. It's really hard when a pair of jeans is folded and you've got loads of pairs of M&S or Per Una jeans to figure out which pair is which. So I do label those individually, put a sticker on, because otherwise I would send someone the wrong pair of jeans. But everything else is
got random. That's why I'm randomness in my boxes.
Yeah.
Because
I just put my title on them.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got as many clothes as you lot. My lot would probably fit into about 1 row of Karen's.
Yeah, it's quite impressive, that row of boxes.
Yeah.
I got my big boxes here, but now a table.
You're mentioning categories, Karen. I think that's a good thing to talk to people about, really. If you put categories in your store, and the reason I'm mentioning this is because I looked at somebody else's shop for some reason. I think I was going to look for whether to buy something they'd shown. And they got categories in the store. So when you went to visit store, down the left-hand side, you could see the categories. But when you clicked on, let's say, all right, then let me say toys just for sake of not identifying somebody. You put toys, right, and it came up with about 4 things. Now, when you clicked on all, they'd actually got pages of them.
They'd forgot to put it into the category, so that would have just been as other.
Yeah, so you've either got to have no categories in your store, so that if people do visit your shop, they look through everything. Or if you're going to use categories, make sure you put your stuff into your categories.
I do, because I've got so many. I do now.
Yeah. I do. But this particular shop, I thought, well, if I didn't know this, to click on all as well, I would have thought, oh, she's only got 4 toys.
I mean, the only thing that's in other is things that I don't sell that many of or that often. You know, if I get something, I don't know. So I've never sold. So I got a lipstick and I wanted to sell it on eBay. Right. I have no lipsticks. I probably will never get another lipstick. So that's going to go in other because it's just one that may sell. You know, it's nothing I'd go out sourcing for in particular. But if then I could get a batch of 100 lipsticks, I would have a cosmetics category.
I put a basket into other yesterday, but see, like with yours, you'd be able to click on if you just want to look at dresses or tops or trousers or even narrower than that, sort of just women's clothing or men's clothing or whatever. But if you've got them, use them, because otherwise people won't find stuff if
I'm not sure people really look at shops. I mean, I think they just look at an item and they don't particularly care who it comes from.
I suppose I do, you see, because
I do.
Yeah. If I
find someone a good seller and I use them, like this particular T-shirt seller that I use quite a lot, I buy presents for people and I buy them for myself. And I always look through their whole shop to see what new designs they've got and stuff like that. So,
right. Interesting.
With categories, though, you can use eBay categories. That's what we do. We just select it to use eBay categories, and it's.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, in your shop you do that. I can't remember exactly where, but there's a section where you can just select to use eBay's categories, and then it puts everything in your shop into eBay categories. And then when people are looking, it just makes it so much easier, so they don't miss stuff.
I think it's your site preferences, Andrea, when you setting them up.
That would be interesting, because I didn't know you could do that. And I quite wouldn't mind switching mine over to the eBay categories, because there's no reason why they shouldn't be. Yeah.
If you're watching eBay, and I know you're probably not, but if you are and you have a heart, please could you add the category console dust covers? Because I would love you forever.
And waistcoats.
You know what I would really like them to do is have the capability to send an invoice on the app, because it drives me nuts that I can't send an invoice to a buyer on an app and I have to go into the computer.
You know what I'd love them to do? And I even brought this to their blinking attention, and they've still not done it. Go on holiday mode, right? What you do, eBay, is you adjust the shipping price the shipping time each day until the person returns.
Yeah.
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 Rather than us having to manually adjust it. There you go, eBay. Sort that one out.
Well, we've given them some work to do this week. Who knows if the eBay gods are listening to us.
Well, everybody would be because you'd get more sales, they'd get more sales because it's constantly editing while you're away. So it offsets the fact that you're not listing, is that you're getting an edit every day on your shop.
If you go away for 6 business days, you have then got to say you're away. You're not going to post for 10 working days.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, but hopefully they'll do something because we may be self-employed, but we need a holiday every now and again. I think we deserve it and we work hard for it.
We probably get less holidays than if we worked in an office or something, or even if we worked in a shop. If we worked in a shop, we'd get 4 weeks a year.
Woohoo!
4 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Free, mate.
Well, ladies, we've been going for over an hour now. We're coming up to 2:10, so perhaps we ought to draw things to a close. And so thank you very much to everyone in the chat who's joined in there. That's lovely. All these wonderful ladies. We have Karen sells clothes. We have Corinne, the sewing thrifter. Sue, my favourite Sue, down below, and Andrea, Nick and Andrea Hills. So thank you very much, ladies. I don't know who's hosting next week. We'll have to see, won't we? Or what the subject matter will be. So
Thank you for having me on, ladies.
Oh, thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Sue.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.